Hello and welcome to the 42's Facebook Live in association with Avonmore Protein Milk to mark the end of our Follow Fitness campaign. Over the last 12 weeks, 3 of our leaders have been charting their fitness journeys, and we're going to mark the end of that, as I said, today by chatting with each of them. We're starting off with Jonny Holland, former Munster rugby player, who joined us now on the line live from Cork. Jonny, how's it going?
Very good, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Jonny, your columns over the last kind of 12 weeks have really gained traction, and there's been a lot of interaction with them, and people have really resonated. Can you kind of just describe what it's been like, kind of charting your I suppose your everyday life for people?
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed it actually. I was probably nervous doing it. Not nervous doing it, but it's not something I do every day. And you had to do something every week for 12 weeks, but it was actually fairly enjoyable, and we chatted about the topics, and once I got into it, I quite enjoyed writing them and sharing my views, because people love sharing their views, but when it's just you sharing them for no reason, it just falls on deaf ears. But it's great to have a platform to be able to share some things that I would like to think are they're helpful for people, but there's also kind of questions back and forth and plenty of views and things like that, so it kind of it felt good.
Yeah, sure. We might touch on some of the topics that you wrote about in your columns in a minute, but I suppose just starting off, you did an Instagram takeover for us in the first couple of weeks, and I think if anyone then followed you on your own Instagram account, they'll see the structure involved in what you do, in the gym at a certain time every morning, and there's it's quite strict routine. Could you maybe talk about that and what you kind of you stick by and adhere to?
Yeah, I suppose people speak about like structure, and you come out of a game like rugby after being a professional player, and you go one of two ways. Like, you go straight back into structure because that's what or people love the freedom of it and they go the other way. But I think for me, I just love training, and my discipline, and Chloe, my girlfriend, would say this as well, the discipline for me is to get out of the gym and to stop going there, which I find tough. And I know I'd say to somebody, just get into the gym, but someone else could say to me, stop going, like that's unhealthy as well, and they're right, so that's probably my discipline. But I like just going first thing in the morning, because otherwise I'm thinking about it all the time. When I was studying for a while, I was nearly like rushing the study so I could get out to the gym, enjoy that, and get back to my study. But I was a bit back, but at the moment, with work, nobody's up at that time, so nobody distracts you. You can get your thing done, but I'd be thinking about it too much anyway. I'd be trying to fob off work at some stage to get into the gym, so I like just getting it done, setting up my morning, and you waste less time at that time in the morning as well. You're up or you're not. You're not going to sit around at home after getting up. You kind of just go. Whereas if you go in the afternoon or the evening time, you could sit down for an extra half an hour. Someone might distract you. Someone might get on to do something, or work gets in the way for a lot of people. And you might have the best intentions to get out to the gym, but work does get busy, and the longer the day goes on, the more people can get in your way. So that's one side of it. But I like going. So first thing in the morning, I enjoy that.
Yeah, you mentioned we're disciplined there, and I think one of the things that will strike most people from if they saw your Instagram takeover or just kind of tuning into your Instagram page every day is the discipline required with the food preparation. That's a big thing, obviously, to really achieve the results you want to do, because you can go to the gym as much as you like, as you said, but it's really sticking to a good diet which kind of backs it up as well. And what's key for you is that preparation. I know you touched on it a good bit in your columns, just being prepared so you're not kind of running around last minute trying to organise things to eat, when it's just so much easier to kind of have it all prepared before.
Yeah, I was never one that was into kind of meal prep and stuff like that, but I always had more time on my hands being a kind of professional player. I never understood why people would meal prep, but for me now, I still don't like to meal prep, but I think if you don't do it, there's two different ways. I can come in and I can cook, and I do cook in the evenings with Chloe, and I don't eat everything from a tub, but when life is busier, I got into it because I went to work for a while in an office, and time wasn't as flexible as what I would have liked it to be, and I suppose I learned how to do things in a very normal everyday person's way, and part of that was being prepped, or else kind of suffering whatever was at the hands of the local shop or whatever else it was. I like control, I like structure, and some people don't. That's fair enough. There's two different ways to do it, but that's the way I like to do it. And like you said, you go into a gym, not that you're judging everyone around you, but you go to the same gym, same time, you see the same people, and people don't change very much. They're putting in the hard work. They might not want to change. They might just do it for their mental capacity. They might do it for strength that you don't always see. But you should probably change the way you look at some stage as well. If you're doing all that work, it should happen quite naturally. And a lot of people, even then, when you speak to them, they're saying, I'm putting in all the hard work, but I don't change. I'm getting to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, and nothing's happening, and it's like, yeah, maybe something should happen. So if you're not looking after your food, it's a massive part of it. So it doesn't matter if you're prepped, like food prepped or not, but having a plan in place, knowing where you're going to get your food, and having some bit of accountability is probably a key part to the success.
Yeah, one of the columns that kind of goes most traction and kind of most interaction was the one that you spoke about going on holidays. And obviously, as you said, you're very disciplined, and it's a way of life, and it's also a job as well. So it's something that you like to stick to. You don't like to just go out and blow it all away. What would you kind of say to people? Because I know there was a lot of people maybe responding to that and saying, holidays are holidays. You have to go and enjoy yourself. You can't be that disciplined. But you kind of had you could counter that with a couple of the arguments and the points that you made. So maybe you could just explain a bit more about that.
Yeah, so I suppose just to understand it a bit better, like I'm going on holidays next week and I can't wait to go. It's been a long year, and I'll probably down tools, but I will down tools, and I'll do it, like I'll do exactly what I want in whatever restaurant I want. But like, that's your priority, If your priority is to say, geez, I'm getting bigger and I'm getting bigger, and you don't want to be, how many holidays are you going on? Like, I'll do that for one holiday, but when I'm going on small breaks away, I will have pancakes in Amsterdam or whatever it was, but I'll also walk most of Amsterdam as well when I'm there. So the next holiday I'm going for, my main summer holiday, is always do what I want, eat what I want, get fatter, and enjoy the food. Like, because that's a big part of our holidays, myself and Chloe, is like, we're not massive drinkers. I definitely drink, but it's food, like, and I enjoy that side of the holiday. So I will definitely take some time off training, because I have to. I know I have to. I'd prefer to probably train, but I'll take a bit of time off that. Walk as many places as we can. Like, that's what I was saying in the articles, is that, if for us dinner might be a half an hour away some days, or a shopping outlet might be half an hour away, try and walk there as opposed to getting some form of transport. You're not going to burn all the calories you're going to eat in the Cheesecake Factory, but it's you're going to offset it a bit. You're going to stay active and healthy, and like I said, it's down to your priority. So when we went to Amsterdam back in March, it wasn't really to have a big blowout. It was to go and enjoy the city, enjoy some of the food, definitely. Like, we weren't going around trying to find salads or anything like that, but you'd be looking at your phone at the steps. And I think I said, I don't do these kind of hotel 30-minute workouts anymore. I will do it if there's a big gym downstairs and I want to get into a proper gym session, but the whole kind of 10, 15, 20 minutes of HIIT style workout with your suitcase in your hand or with a heavy bottle of water, I stop it, because you might burn 200 to 300 calories. If you just walk to your dinner, you might burn 100 on the way, 100 on the way back, and walk into the city later on. You're going to burn the same amount. So small things like that. If you want to stay healthy, then you can look ahead, find the right restaurants that are still healthy. Like, they're still tasty, but they're healthy. You're still not cooking, so that's a break away from your daily routine. And that's what a holiday is. It doesn't mean that you have to lose your mind on food and drink. So I think it just depends on what your aim is for that holiday. I think if people are going on 2, 3, 4 holidays a year, or trips a year, and you use every one of them as a blowout, then you're just kind of undoing the hard work every quarter, and you're just working back towards it again. It's just a bit of a cycle, So for me, the priority this time isn't to stay in shape. Like, I've tried to get in shape to go over there and enjoy it and be comfortable with myself being on a beach and all that. But enjoying the food and the restaurants over there is the priority this time. Yeah.
Another one of the columns that really kind of caught people's imagination was when you spoke about pre-season, and obviously, your experiences with Munster and pre-season. You admitted kind of in the piece itself that, for the first time this year you really missed it. Is that again kind of just down to the discipline, the structure that's involved, particularly in the pre-season period for rugby players?
I don't think it's the structure. I think it's just the challenge and the kind of buzz that's around it. Like, pre-season is a good buzz. At the same time, the pressure is off in one sense because of no games. You're allowed to just play a bit of rugby, and you're allowed to make mistakes, and you don't want to make too many mistakes, but you're allowed to kind of express yourself a little bit more, learn about the game a little bit more, and kind of chat, like a lot of time to chat to coaches when they're not prepping for games. They have probably a little bit more time. They'll probably actually kill me for saying that. They don't have a lot more time, but they have a lot more time to put into players individually, as opposed to, like, you'd be surprised with the coaches. They're doing video analysis 3 and 4 weeks down the line to try and get ahead of what's coming, whereas in the summertime they don't have that, so you're able to just express yourself a little bit differently, learn a bit more about the game. But also for me, I suppose you'd miss the fact that pre-season is tough, and there's nobody in there that shies away from a tough challenge. Obviously, like, if you get through pre-season, you're doing quite well. So I just probably missed that, getting back to a nervous first day, testing, getting in with the lads. It's all about, like, with each other, seeing who got what in the scores. Like the gym is always good buzz. It's obviously rough as well. Like it's hard on the body, but that's part of it. Like knowing you're getting through a challenge and putting your best foot forward, kind of thing, is probably the part that I missed the most. Now you throw me into the middle of a pre-season at the moment, and I'd probably hate you for it. Like I wouldn't get through 2 days of it, but it's just the mental side of it I probably missed a little bit more, and seeing the lads go back and probably missing the game a little bit more just for those couple of weeks, like, you know.
Yeah, for anyone who actually missed Jonny's column on pre-season training, or any of the columns that he wrote throughout the course of the 12 weeks, you can still obviously catch them in the 42. They're under the fitness vertical. Before we let you go, Jonny, there was a lot of interaction again, readers asking you questions. What was kind of the most common question that you received over the course of the 12 weeks maybe, or what do people want to know most?
I'm not sure really. There was a couple of questions under the pre-workout one, different opinions, and a lot of these kind of supplements are always a big topic, and they're never really massively researched. Now you don't have to have a study showing you exactly when something will work in what exact population or whatever. There can be a little bit of a mechanism there, and you can trial it and all that, but I think people have opinions on what worked for them, placebo effects and all the rest of it, so there was probably a bit of discussion around that, but there's not a whole lot proven beyond doubt in terms of those kind of supplements, you know. So that was an interesting one. There was a good bit around the holiday one as well, how to deal with it, things like that. It was probably, people don't like to think that they can stay healthy when they're going away, but it depends on, like I said, which holiday it is and how many you take. But a lot of interaction. There was probably no real question that stands out, but a couple of topics like those that got a lot more interaction. And then a lot of people just asked, like saying to me, I can see your articles, and so I really enjoy them and learning a lot from them and stuff, which is great for me, you know, and great that I'm giving them back some value as well.
Yeah, for sure. One that actually stood out just thinking of it now was a lot of people just asking, and I know you kind of touched on it there, when you go into the gym and you see the same people every day, and you don't really see too much progress or change. What's the kind of the biggest mistake that you see people making, whether it's in the gym itself doing exercises and, you know, poor form or technique or whatever it is, or in the kitchen? What's kind of the biggest mistake you'd see people make?
I think, like, when you speak with these things, most people want to lose weight, so like I don't always talk about exercise and nutrition and fitness as weight loss, but I suppose that is the most popular topic. It's not what springs to mind for me when I speak about it, because my life was spent trying to put on weight, but that I suppose is the most normal thing. And then people within that situation, they either go too low and too strict too early and kind of lose sight of what they're trying to do, and kind of that kind of restrict and binge cycle where they restrict from Monday to Thursday, binge all weekend, and they're back in, like, a square one or worse by Monday next week, you know. So I think people as well, kind of in that same context, think they're doing really well because most of the days they're very strict, but it's actually the days that they're not strict, they count maybe 4 days on, 3 days off. Well, 4 days were good, and that's more than 3, so I'm doing quite well. But actually the 3 days you can do quite a bit in there to undo all the hard work that you've done midweek. So I think that's easy when people are in work. They've got a structure and a routine and they can stick to that, but once they get a bit of freedom of the weekend, anything can happen, like, you know. So you see a lot of graphs now on social media and Instagram, and I think people are starting to take each other's, but you'll see like average calories are 2,000 across the day, so you've got 14,000 calories in a week, and that's your maintenance. So to lose some weight you need to go below that, so you might go to 1,800 across the days, and forgive my maths now, they might come up too well, but for Monday to Thursday people might go to 1,800, so they've saved 200 calories per day, so they've got 800 calorie deficit there. And then they think, oh, let's have a little bit extra here on a Friday night, maybe a glass of wine, bar of chocolate, a little bit on the Sunday or Saturday as well. So if you go 300 calories over on the Friday, 300 calories over on the Saturday and Sunday, you're going to kind of 2,300 calories. Then the net effect is that you're up 100 calories. And they're kind of saying, but I dieted really hard Monday to Thursday all last week, and they kind of forget selectively about what they didn't when they didn't diet so hard. But the net effect is you're up 100 calories. That won't put weight on you this week. But if after 6 weeks you're kind of like, my weight hasn't changed, or I've gone up 1 pound, they don't know why, but it's fairly clear from an objective point of view why they have. And that's probably the biggest mistake people make, trying to go, like, that's a conservative figure. Like, they can go down to 1,300 calories all week and save 700 calories for 4 days, but they can do so much, I'd say damage, but they can eat so much Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or go drinking and kind of, you don't know how many calories you've had. Like, a pint is over 200 calories, a Hillbillies afterwards or whatever it is,
Yeah.
McDonald's, you can creep up the calories fairly quickly, and it just evens it out fairly handy. And all you're doing is feeling miserable for the week, enjoying yourself too much for the weekend, and regretting that on Monday, and it's just a complete cycle, like, you know. So I think a lot of people have documented that one, but it probably still is the most common one, especially in the summer. Like, stuff happens off the cuff, a barbecue, a couple of drinks. I'm sure everyone's out now, and it can be fairly easy to lose the run of yourself, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Jonny, thanks a million for all your insight over the last 12 weeks. It's been really enjoyable.
No, thanks for having me on.
And thanks for joining us, and look forward to I hope you have a good holiday next week anyway.
Thanks very much. I'll keep you updated.
Cheers. Bye. Now moving on to our second ambassador. Joining us live from Cork is Saoirse Noonan. Saoirse, thanks for joining us.
No problem, thank you.
Anyone who's been reading kind of your charting your progress over the last 12 weeks as well with us would have noticed that it's been an incredibly busy time and busy summer for you. You got your Leaving Cert results obviously yesterday. An exciting time, busy time. How did that go for you?
Yeah, I got them yesterday, so I didn't get the results I wanted. I won't get my first choice. I did wish I could have done better, but I was happy enough, and I think what's meant to be will be, and there's something out there for everyone, so just hopefully there's for me.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously it's been an incredibly busy summer because you were doing your exams and you're studying, and then obviously you were straight into the championship with Cork, and you've had a great, you scored 2 goals in your debut, and you've really hit the ground running. How's it been for you? You must have really enjoyed that so far.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Like, I went into the Cork team only a couple of weeks before my Leaving Cert started, so I trained through that. So I was delighted to get a run in the Munster final and make an impact in that game. And yeah, I suppose we've been going really smoothly so far. We've been getting good wins, and hopefully we can get another one now next week against Donegal and get to Croke Park. Yeah,
semi-final, it's obviously a big game. Will that be the biggest game of your career so far, looking at an All-Ireland semi and the chance to get into a Croke Park final?
Yeah, I think every game is big. Like, I've played in All-Ireland finals, but I think on the day every game is getting bigger, and a senior All-Ireland semi-final against Donegal, it's going to be a tough one, and hopefully we can win, and it'd be incredible really, and the experience so far has been so great. I don't want it to end. Yeah.
Am I right in saying that you haven't played at Croke Park before, so that must be a real big driver for you now going into the Donegal game, that goal is there to play at Croke Park?
Yeah, I think playing in the Aviva last year with Cork City, that's a stepping stone for a soccer player. So now I think I want to hit the top and play in Croke Park with the gas. So yeah, that's definitely on the bucket list and one I want to achieve.
Yeah, you obviously mentioned playing with Cork City in the Women's National League there as well, so it's all a juggling act, and I suppose once your Leaving Cert was done, you obviously had more time to kind of focus on both. How have you kind of been able to juggle the two, and you've obviously gone well in both because you're kind of thriving in both sports?
Yeah, well, of course, with it being summer, it's easier to manage the two sports, as they're my main focus. Like, I had to miss family holidays, friends going away, all the girls. So it is a big commitment, but I wouldn't change it for the world. And both managers have been really good to me, understanding that I am playing both sports and I want to give 100% to each of them.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's been good so far. Yeah, I've only missed, I think, one match, and I missed very little training sessions because we train kind of every second day nearly, so it kind of works out for me. So I'm lucky.
Yeah. How is training like? Do you get to the end of the week when you've trained and you've played matches in both codes? Are you kind of wrecked by the end of the week, or is it kind of just something that you're used to now?
It's kind of the opposite nearly. It's more Monday morning I'm more wrecked because the weekend's so hectic with games. It's nearly every weekend, either a friendly with GA right now, or a National League game or a championship game. So the last couple of weeks has been championship with GA, and that's been my main focus. And then obviously National League then came back on, and I had to miss the Peamount game, and then I was back into the Galway game the week after, and then the Limerick game, and now into UCD, and then next weekend it's back on again, semi-final. So I kind of train hard, start of the week, and then relax and try to get myself focused for the games at the weekend, and then I suppose it's a repeated cycle every week.
Yeah, it must be a given that you just enjoy, both equally, and you enjoy that kind of that challenge of juggling the two. But do you ever feel there's going to be a stage where you might have to, choose between the two, or go one way to concentrate all your efforts on one or the other?
Yeah, certainly. I gave up the GA last year because I couldn't commit anymore, and I didn't want to be committing to a team that I couldn't give 100% to, because I just felt it wasn't fair. When I was playing with Ireland as well, and then when we got knocked out of the under-19 championships in the elite phase, I was just lucky enough that I was asked back into EFI squad. So I suppose there was someone looking down on me there that I got that opportunity, and of course I took it straight away. But yeah, again now come September, it's going to have to be decision making. So I'm just going to have to wait and see really, and I just really take it as it all comes. Right now I'm able to juggle it both, so I'll do it until I can't really anymore.
Yeah, as part of the Follow Fitness campaign, you did an Instagram story takeover on the 42 the other day, and kind of people got an insight into your kind of a general day in the life. You were in the gym early in the morning. Can you kind of just describe what you kind of focus on in the gym? Because obviously you're training hard with sessions with both soccer and football during the week, and then as you say, you've got 2 matches most weeks. So what's the kind of the focus in the gym? Is it more just kind of recovery, activations, stretching kind of thing, or do you kind of focus as well on weights?
Yeah, I suppose it kind of varies every week really, depending on the training load and how hard the match was. This week I had training Tuesday evening, so I knew I wouldn't be doing legs. I didn't want to be too tired, and I knew I had training last night with Cork football, and I knew that was going to be a tough session, which it was. So I kind of focus on upper body, and core I suppose is kind of essential for every sport, and it's never not needed really, so that's kind of the main thing. But yeah, Mondays will kind of be recovery, and then some Tuesdays will be a recovery if I'm still not right. But I did a tough enough session on Tuesday morning, knowing that I was going to have another hard session in the evening. So yeah.
Yeah, and obviously food is important. People would have seen, you're on the go constantly, going from, gym to training, matches. How it's you're constantly on the go. So obviously food prep. We had Jonny Holland just on there, and obviously food prep is huge for him. Likewise for yourself, you just have to be incredibly organised.
Yeah, I think organisation is key. Like if you wake up in the morning and you're not ready, it just delays everything. It puts you off, and I suppose it leads to binging, and that's just always going to affect your body. So I'm lucky enough, like, to be fair, my mum every night cooks me a dinner in the morning, make my breakfast. Like, I'm really lucky like that. And when I was in school, like, I wouldn't have the time to come home and meal prep, so she'd help me out there. And of course Body Chef then have come on board, and their meals are so nutritious. And yeah, I suppose like there's so many people helping me out, and I wouldn't be able to do it without them. I wouldn't be able to give 100% commitment on the pitch, off the pitch, in school, nutrition, because it's all just so time consuming really. But yeah, I suppose it's just all about balancing your time right. Yeah,
between the two different programs, is there much kind of, you said before we came on air, it's good to understand them between the two managers, and they understand that you're kind of in both camps. Is there much correlation between the two programs in terms of the training loads that you have to do in the gym? Are they quite similar in that sense?
Yeah, well, we'd usually go to like a team gym session on Wednesday night with Cork City, so I obviously missed that because I go training with the GAA.
Yeah.
So Kevin Tatton is over us with the GAA, but he's also over Cork City, so kind of he's involved with Cork City men's and looks over us. So it's very good that way. He gets on to Owen, our strength and conditioning coach, and they both know what I'm doing in the gym. And Kevin's outstanding. He knows everything, and he knows the right things to do. So when I go to the gym with him on Fridays, or he sets out what we have to do for each week, we all just know what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to do it. So yeah, it's all good, and it's pretty much the same anyway. It's all about trying to build up speed, trying to build up core strength, mobility. So yeah.
Yeah, and as the season kind of progresses and the championship summer progresses and you kind of get deeper into the competition, now obviously you're finished school and exams, do you find that you are kind of just getting naturally more fitter, and as you say, your speed is up and all that type of stuff, because you've got more time to kind of dedicate yourself to that?
Yeah, for definite. Since the leaving cert's finished, and I've been so focused on just kind of one or two things like the soccer and the GA.
Yeah.
I think my fitness and my speed is really, really increased. Like, if people have even said it to me like that, like, you are looking so different, and so like that's obviously a good compliment for me, and it kind of would drive you to keep going, and like you obviously want more, and I want to be the best, and there's always room for improvement. So I think now that that's my focus, that I can focus on it, I really do want to focus on it, and it's always something I feel I can improve on, is always my fitness in games. So hopefully I can get to top fitness levels. And now that we're coming into really serious games, coming to the end of the season in the National League, and of course the All-Ireland semi-final.
Yeah, when the margins are so fine, as you said, at that kind of end of the championship summer, is that kind of a real point of difference that you kind of can identify, that if you can be working extra hard in the gym, that can be the difference between winning an All-Ireland final and losing?
Yeah, of course. Like, I think it's that last push. Like, no one wants to do that last round or that last lift. But I think if you do that and it's them last 4 or 5 minutes in a game and there's 1 point, you're 1 point up, you're 1 point down, I think that's what drives you. You're going to say, like, we all look at each other and say, we're in the gym every week, we're training every week. Even last night now we had to do 21s to 21s, and like it's the last push and you're just like, I can't do it, and there's everything going through your head. And I just think when you think of Croke Park, you're like, just come on, like it's one push, it's 5 more seconds, just one run. And if you can do it, I think it's mentally you have to be more prepared. So I think when you do get to Croke Park and that comes into your mind, you're going to think, I trained so hard for this, and you're not going to want to leave it go last minute. Yeah,
Jonny, in one of Jonny's columns over the 12 weeks, he talks about goals and kind of how to focus your mind. Obviously, as an athlete who's got 2 different sports to focus on, there's certain tangible goals at the end of it. This season, getting to an All-Ireland final at Croke Park with Cork, for example, is that what ultimately just drives you on? That, as you say, when you're in the gym and you're really struggling, or you're not motivated to get up early in the morning to do a session, or go, late at night to do a session, that's just ultimately that kind of drives you on?
Yeah, for definite. Like, there's some days you're just like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym, or I don't want to go to this training session because you're just so tired. But I think when I just think about it, my teammates are all the same. We're all in the same boat. We all have busy schedules. We all put 100% commitment in, and when you go out there and you see everyone else giving 100%, I think that always drives you on more as well.
Yeah, and is that the ultimate goal? That's the dream for this summer now, to get to an All-Ireland final with Cork and go and win it?
Yeah, I think from a young age, it's always been a dream to play in Croke Park. I remember my brother played a half-time for some game in Croke Park, and I'd always been like, oh my god, I'd do anything to play there. And then just even watching the girls over the years winning so many medals and going into the homecomings, like, it's always been a dream. So now that it's coming into kind of reality and it's coming a step closer, it's definitely something I want to achieve.
Yeah. Saoirse, thanks a million for all your insight over the last 12 weeks, and we wish you the best of luck, not just this weekend but obviously with the All-Ireland semi-final against Donegal next weekend as well.
Thanks a million, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks a million for joining us, Saoirse, and thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.